There's a plant growing in your yard right now. It grows in the cracked asphalt at the edge of parking lots. It grows in the compacted soil beside train tracks, in the disturbed earth of roadsides, in the neglected corners of farms where nothing else will take hold. It grows without invitation, without irrigation, without anyone's permission. You have probably pulled it out by the root and thrown it away. You have probably sprayed it with something that smelled of chemicals and watched it die back, only to find it returning 3 weeks later, quieter, more deliberate, as if it had simply been waiting. You were told it was a weed. You were told this so consistently, so early, that you never thought to question it. Your parents believed it, their parents believed it. The assumption had the weight of common sense, the kind of knowledge that doesn't need to be taught because it seems to already be known by everyone. But common sense has a history, and that history, when you follow it back far enough, leads somewhere uncomfortable. The plant has a name that most people in the modern world recognize only as something to be removed: purslane, Portulaca oleracea, a low, sprawling, succulent-leafed plant with stems the color of deep red wine and leaves so thick with moisture they feel almost artificial between your fingers. It flowers in tiny yellow bursts that open only in direct sunlight, then close again before afternoon. It sets seeds so efficiently, so abundantly, that a single plant can produce over 200,000 seeds in one growing season. Those seeds can remain viable in the soil for decades. Some researchers say 40 years, some say longer. This is not an exaggeration. This is the biological record. And yet, somewhere between that record and the present moment, purslane was reclassified, not through science, not through any nutritional discovery, but through a slow, systemic process of economic and agricultural forgetting. What cannot be owned cannot survive the modern market. What cannot be packaged cannot be sold. What grows everywhere freely without asking anything of anyone, that is the most dangerous thing in an economy built on managed scarcity. This is the story of a plant that fed civilizations, that crossed oceans before empires named them, that appeared in ancient Persian texts, in Ming Dynasty household records, in the writings of Pliny the Elder. It survived every climate it encountered. And then, in the span of roughly 150 years, it disappeared from the table. Not from the earth, never from the earth, only from memory. This channel exists because forgetting is not neutral. When knowledge disappears, it leaves a shape, an absence that tells you what was removed and why. Ancient Food Files was built to examine those absences, to uncover what agricultural modernization and market logic buried. What follows is not a celebration. It is not a health video. It is an excavation. The oldest confirmed evidence of purslane as human food comes from archaeological sites in the eastern Mediterranean more than 6,000 years ago. Carbonized seeds, storage vessels, a relationship older than written history. In Persian texts, it was kurfe, already woven into domestic life. In indigenous traditions of the American Southwest, it appeared as a plant of resilience, gathered when rains failed and cultivated crops collapsed. This was not desperation. It was precision. Purslane is a CAM plant, crassulation acid metabolism, a photosynthetic system that allows it to open its stomata at night and conserve water during the heat of the day. It is biologically built for drought, for disturbance, for survival. It also contains more alpha-linoleic acid, a plant-based omega-3, than any other documented leafy green, several times higher than spinach, higher than kale. The research exists, the numbers hold. None of it reached the grocery store. We are approaching a threshold. Topsoil erodes, aquifers drain, growing zones shift. The crops bred for stability struggle in instability. Purslane does not. It is already in the ground. What has been lost is not the plant, but the human half of the relationship. The eyes that saw food in the margins, the hands that knew how to gather, the memory that connected field to kitchen. That memory is recoverable through attention. The soil remembers. The question is whether we will. Ancient food files will keep making these records, not as trends, but as archives. Because what is remembered does not disappear. The soil remembers. We can learn to.